Well, hello, my name is Jim Royal. I'm a huge Beatles and Elvis Presley fan and basically classic rock in general. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. If you could do a thumbs up, that's always most appreciated. And feel free to leave comments. I always enjoy reading them. And I do my best to try to respond in a timely manner. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about what's been in the news lately about a new last Beatles song. And what this is about John Lennon demos that were given the Beatles during the Anthology days, and the Beatles worked on releasing two of them, but then two more remained unreleased. Okay, I think I know what it is, and I'm willing to bet I am quite certain. I was around at the time, I read the publications, I've seen a lot of interviews where they talked about this third mystery song. So let me explain first. I think this song is called Now and Then. Okay, that's one of the titles for it, or I Don't Want to Lose You. So what John Lennon had done was in the late 70s, when he was not putting out studio albums, he was still recording songs of new material. He would be making demos in the Dakota, sometimes on vacation in Bermuda. He made some too when he was doing Double Fantasy, or the start of it. So he lived in the Dakota building in New York City, and he had a music room, a piano there. He would play guitar, and he would record these songs on, I guess a handheld recorder and maybe other recording equipment. So what had happened with this was he made these demos. Unfortunately, he was taken way too soon. In the 90s, the Beatles were working on a documentary about their life, their career as the band. It was originally called The Long Winding Road. Later, they called it the Beatles Anthology. And what they were going to have, and I remember reading this at the time, they said that there also might be incidental new music from the Beatles on a soundtrack. That's what we were told, okay? We were also told that George Martin wasn't going to be producing it. We heard that Jeff Lynne from ELO was going to be co-producing it, okay, with the Beatles. So it was very exciting. What had happened was Yoko Ono had given Paul two cassettes, which had 4 songs on there of John Lennon demos from these, late 70s, 1980, and said, see what you can do with it, She wanted to see maybe if they could, use his vocal, his song, and then also contribute to it with their new music and combine it and make it one new song. So that's what they did. Starting in February of 1994, they worked on a song called Free as a Bird. That was one of the 4 songs. And that one is right here. And this was originally later released in 1995. Okay, it was put on the Anthology 1. There were 3 volumes of this anthology that came out with alternate takes of songs, and in this case, a brand new Beatles song. And then the next year, they worked on this. This was February of '95, Real Love. Okay. So let's see, I think Free as a Bird was from 1977, and then Real Love was from '79, and I think the version that they recorded here was from 1980 in Bermuda, from John. All right, so this was on volume 2. So naturally we thought, hey, there's going to be a 3rd song on the 3rd volume. We were really excited by it later on in '96. So anyway, there were 2 other songs. One of them is called Now and then the others Grow Old With Me. From what I understand, they decided not to do anything with Grow Old With Me. Later that would be on a Ringo Starr album called What's My Name in 2019. And then also the John Lennon Anthology box, Yoko Ono had asked George Martin, the Beatle producer, to put an orchestra string arrangement in back of it, so he did that. So that's how that happened. So you have this other song, Now and Then, which apparently was a song that they had attempted to record. Jeff Lynne, who was from ELO, co-produced the sessions, and he was George Harrison's friend. He had helped co-produce Cloud 9. He was later a traveling Wilbury. And then after this anthology, He even co-produced 8 songs off of Flaming Pie from Paul McCartney after this came out in 1997. So it was pretty exciting. So he had said about this song Now and Then, he had said that the band spent roughly like, an afternoon or a day and a half working on it, okay? And I think this was March of 1995. And they recorded all these songs in Hog Hill Mill in Sussex, England, which was where Paul McCartney had his studios. So it was a real private, quiet affair. And they tried laying down the music to it, and they actually completed a rough backing track. So George Harrison is on this too, and I think the premise of how they imagined they were going to be able to do this, because they said it was very emotional. They said, well, let's pretend John's on vacation or he's out to tea, and we're told to finish these songs for him. So that's what they did, and they were able to do it. However, with this one, Now and Then, there is this hissing sound that is very audible in it, and unfortunately they just weren't able to remove that. I guess there was a little bit of hissing from the cassette from Real Love also, but they were able to take care of that pretty good. After they recorded it, they were working on this, they gave up. George Harrison said that it was rubbish. I'm not sure if he means the song or just the way that they were recording. You just, you have this hissing sound. Either way, now with today's technology, in 2021, Peter Jackson, who did the documentary for the Beatles Get Back, he was able to separate different audio within, a song or a fragment of audio, okay? So what I mean by that is when the Beatles were recording Get Back, the Let It Be sessions, at times when they were being filmed for rehearsals and they didn't want the camera crew to hear what they were saying, they would simply sit there and strum their guitar, strum. So you couldn't hear them, and it would drown out what they were trying to say in private. Well, Peter Jackson came up with technology that will allow that guitar to be removed or quieted or bring the voices out separately so then you can hear them. And that's what they did with that. And then also they did that on Revolver, which was pretty interesting, some of the mixes there. So that was exciting. So it sounds to me like they applied that to this. So they went back to that basic track. And so George Harrison is on it. They went back to it and they apparently have finished it up, and they're planning to release it at the end of this year. So when I talk about what they're doing with this technology, it's MEL, M-A-L. It's a technology where they're able to separate things. So in this case, they're able to lift the vocal track and have that separate, and then the piano track if they want, because it was a piano demo. Or they can remove the hissing, and put that separated. So then they cleaned it up, and then they're able to record. Now, Paul McCartney initially said in an interview, he was talking, oh, well, this is artificial intelligence, AI. It's not. It's a special software that's able to separate different audio within a particular, song or, passage. And that's what they did. So it's supposed to be released at the end of this year in 2023. Really excited by it. I'm assuming it'll probably be out by November. And then, the other clue that it's Now and Then is the fact that John Lennon or Paul McCartney has often said, hey, you know what? George didn't really like that song, but, I've been, meaning to get around to it. I think in 2007 he said that, one of these days me and Ringo will finish it. So I'm betting that this is the song that they're talking about, and it's very exciting. Now, I've heard the song, okay? I have heard it. I like the song. It's just very melancholy. It's very haunting. It is very personal, and I know some people have said, oh, it's too personal to be put out as a Beatles song. I don't agree. I mean, you get the song Help from the Beatles. That was a personal statement from John. You have other songs that he did that were very personal while he was a Beatle too. Like Julia and songs like that. So we're really excited about this. I think with Beatlemania now, in February of '64 at least, coming to here the States, and Ed Sullivan, that's going to be 60 years. I think there's worth it's worth to have some sort of collection, whether it's going to be some unreleased tracks or alternate takes. I'm not sure. But we're going to finally get to see this song, Light of Day. It'll be released. The other thing I was thinking about is Beatlemania actually started in '63, okay? And we're 60 years there in Britain, right? So I'm looking forward to the song. I know you guys are, but I am quite certain it's called Now and Then. So I want to thank you very much for watching my video, and you take care. All right? Thank you. Bye.